99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
For an interview with BET News, Gordon asked the president if there is anything, including family members, that would make him reevaluate staying in the race.
If there had some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem.
A few moments later.
We're watching live pictures of President Biden right now. He's boarding Air Force One. I'm told these are live pictures. This is a bit odd because he has tested positive for COVID, but he is not wearing a mask. It's unclear why that's happening right now. But
hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thinking Logically. Like Oreo Speedwagon said, you gotta roll with the changes. Because just like that, COVID is back. Hello, I'm your host, Joseph Anthony Corsai, and today is a special episode because we have a guest named Anthony joining us in the second segment. He was at the Trump rally Saturday and was seated right behind Donald Trump, so we'll have a lot of fun questions for him. But let's get started by introducing the crew. On the ones and twos, our producer, the amazing Ryan Garazunas.
Hey, Joe, how you doing, brother?
Good, I introduced you like a magician, the amazing Ryan.
I like that. We'll go with it.
All right, and joining us via phone, as always, our co-host, Mr. Gordy. Mark, we've seen even more questions than answers the last couple days. Are you surprised, though?
Joseph, Ryan, Anthony. No, I'm not surprised at all, Joe, but I know we're going to get into that. But how about Trump's entrance last night, Joe, into the RNC, to James Brown and Pavarotti mashup? That was so freaking powerful. I mean, we're witnessing a living legend, and there will never be another one like Trump, Joe. So let's get this party started.
Wait till tonight. I think it's at like 9 o'clock. I think it's 8 Central, so probably 9 or 10. I'm getting my times off. Anyway, I want to start today's episode by reminding our audience how close we came to actually having a civil war in this country. I mean, immediately after the shooting, everyone in the mainstream media and politicians on the left gave us the tagline, we need to turn down the temperature. We all heard it. We need to turn down the temperature. But remember, these are the same people that called Trump a Nazi, a would-be dictator, a threat to the foundation of our democracy. I could go on. Remember the speeches Joe Biden gave 2 years ago in Philadelphia. He said MAGA was a threat to the country. Joe Biden, the president of the United States, said that. And now, after Trump gets shot in the face, they want some kind of everyone come together and hug Rocky IV moments. If I can change, maybe yous can change. Yeah, that lasted for about a day or two. Now some of the talking heads are questioning if Trump really was shot or if it was all staged. By the way, if you call what happened on Saturday fake, I hope you get sued worse than Alex Jones. Also, though, the same people that wore masks the size of the Chinese spy balloon that flew over this country last year, for 4 years, all of a sudden they think that Trump's ear bandage is, quote, unnecessary. You know, I made that comparison on social media, and a lot of other people did too. What happened 24 hours later, less than 24 hours later? Well, within hours of Biden revealing he would step down if some sort of weird medical condition emerged, he tests positive for COVID. Wow, what a surprise. Now, Mr. Vigorous has to self-isolate, and who knows when we'll see this man again. By the way, didn't he just have a cold that he used as an excuse for that awful debate performance? Anyway, what did we see happen next? More Democrats go into total panic mode. Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, pencil neck, warns in a private meeting that Democrats stand to lose everything this election as long as Biden remains on the top of the ticket. Now, they're doing a roll call next week, I believe, to nominate Biden ahead of the convention. Maybe they're going to wait for him to become the nominee, and as soon as he becomes the nominee, announce something big. All he has to do now is last like another week and a half, 10 days. Once he's the nominee, don't be surprised to hear his doctor come out and say something's different now than a few weeks ago. Maybe they'll finally admit, yeah, there's something wrong with Biden. He has this particular thing going on, and you know what? He can't serve. But remember, when they do announce that, they knew for a long time. They all knew. The doctors knew. They all knew. All that's changed is it's clear he can't win now. Every plan they had to counter Trump failed. That's why we're seeing this happen. Mark, what's going on here? All this came out of the blue. Joe Biden was the most popular president in U.S. history with 81 million votes. Why would they try to replace a candidate that got the most votes in U.S. history?
I don't know, Joe. I mean, I thought they were supposed to be defenders of democracy. We had all these people vote for Joe Biden in the primary, and now they're going to just basically say your votes don't count anymore. We have to defend democracy by getting the president of the United States out of the race, basically, is what they're saying. Joe, I mean, this whole COVID thing, this is from, again, Joey Manarino on X. Julia Reed said the quiet part out loud. Biden's whole COVID thing is just so the world can see him survive it. And then he'll look strong like Donald Trump.
Jeez.
I don't think that's too far fetched there, Joe. But this whole thing, Joe. I mean, Joe, you have to think if we'll just call it the plan. If the plan would have been executed properly on Saturday at 6:11 p.m. in Butler County, and Donald Trump was dead, would they be calling for Biden to get out of the race, or did the plan somehow go awry? And now they're going to Plan B, and that is getting Joe Biden now out of this race. Last night, MSNBC, this is from townhall.com, did MSNBC just equate the Trump campaign not yet releasing information about Trump's ear, which they imply might not have been hit by a bullet but by broken glass, which is completely untrue, to the Biden admin's lack of transparency for months about Biden's physical and mental health.
I just have to reiterate that if it was, let's just assume for a second, yeah, it was broken glass. A bullet still flew by his head and hit broken glass. I mean, that's still an assassination attempt, but go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the trajectory of where he was, the teleprompters weren't in that line, so it couldn't have been the teleprompters. It couldn't have been glass. I don't know, Joe. MSNBC is Julie Reed. These people, they're giving us so many sound bites to just run with because they're losing their minds again about this. So I don't know if the plan went awry on Saturday, Joe, or not. But what do you think?
I think it did, honestly. And then you could tell by the media reaction. The funniest thing, they're more worried about Trump's ear health than Biden's mental health. I mean, this is absolutely, completely ridiculous here. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is. This is from, do you see what John Harwood questioned, though? How often have AR-15 bullets pierced part of someone's body, ripping through the skin, while leaving the body part intact and without serious injury? I mean, these people are really questioning this. Like, they're going, you talk about, like, QAnon and stuff. What do they call it? Bluing on? They're going full bluing on with this.
It's interesting. I'm sure we're going to talk about
from Margaret Sullivan.
Things, but
very little details, but still, most I've seen, Trump's campaign has given no official info about his medical care. I mean, what are you going to?
How about the speech he gave to the was it the NAACP?
Where he called. Wait.
He said that he had a friend when he was a lifeguard.
Named Mouse. Why not at this point,
not
right?
Corn Pop.
Why not just call him Mouse at this point? Say you have a black friend named Mouse at this point and try to get the black one. Yeah. But then again, he called Lloyd. Did you see what he called Lloyd Austin?
Oh, yes.
The black guy. Or was it the black man? I got the
black man. Yeah.
What else did we see over this week? He attacked a Bronze Star congressman. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, compared him to his son Bo.
Bo, who served, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here, audience, but I don't think Bo served any combat role, at least in Iraq. And he said, it's like my son, but just because wait, what did he actually say here? Tell me who enlarged NATO. Tell me who did the Pacific Basin. Tell me who did something you've never done with your Bronze Star like my son. I mean, this guy going after a Bronze Star veteran is something if Donald Trump did, he'd be out of the race. But he gets sick and then all of a sudden flies directly back to Delaware where, did he go back to the White House? No, he went back to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, where there's no visitor log, so we're not going to know what kind of doctor. Is it another Parkinson's doctor? Who's visiting him? We'll never know. And the day before he announced he had COVID, there was a no-fly zone alert for pilots showed he was flying to his beach house on Wednesday night until Sunday night. In other words, the 4-day recuperation was pre-planned. Seems weird. That's coming from Miranda Devine on X.
Trump gets shot, now he has COVID.
Let's bring in Ryan. Let's bring in Ryan now. Ryan's champing at the bit over here. Ryan, what do you think? Anthony.
Oh.
Anthony, let's bring you in here. So you're a combat veteran. You've served in Iraq. You've known what combat's like. What do you think when you hear Joe Biden compare his son to a Bronze Star military person?
It's just getting more ridiculous. It is. I mean, everything that comes out of his mouth, I feel like it's getting worse and worse and worse every day.
And he's attacking veterans now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get some opinions on some other stories here. So this is where things start to get interesting. Now, speaking of Trump and his ears, did you hear about Trump's stock getting shorted the day before he was shot? So I'm going to read this. The Donald Trump stock was massively shorted the day before Trump was shot going into Monday morning. Austin Private Wealth LLC filed with the SEC that they had placed a put or a short position on 12 million shares in Trump's media company hours before a failed assassination attempt. They later amended the filing and issued a statement claiming it was a, quote, clerical error. The correct holding amount was 12 contracts or 1,200 shares, not 12 million. Well, whoops, I guess there. It's not like, this is the first time something like this happened. And Anthony, you'll like this. Remember on 9/11 where bets were placed against the stocks of major airline companies like American, United, the day before September 11th?
Oh, I remember.
You remember?
Yeah.
Move your mic just a little bit closer.
A little bit.
Yeah. Can you hear him, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. So it's like this is happening all over again, except these ones, unlike 9/11, were fake. They were just a mistake. Maybe we should look back on the 9/11 ones. Anyway, we need to follow the supposed short sellers. It looks like they thought Monday morning Trump would be dead, and now they have to make an excuse up out of the blue. It was a clerical error. BlackRock and Vanguard were literally betting on Donald Trump's death the day before the assassination attempt. It's also notable, who did we learn recently was in a BlackRock video? The 20-year-old shooter. Amazing the coincidences. Mark, what do you think about the shorting of the stock? And then I want to get Anthony's take.
Well, before we talk about that, Joe, how about, we talked about the Bronze Star. How about the Gold Star families last night that spoke at the RNC? They weren't too happy with President Biden. Let's put it that way. And just heartbreaking testimony from these families that stood up on stage and talked about how their sons gave their lives for this country and died in Afghanistan at the Abbey Gate on that botched withdrawal. But shorting the stock, Joe, this is your area of expertise. Basically shorting the stock is, correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, is basically betting against the stock. You're betting that the stock's going to tank.
Yes, you're betting for it to go down.
So, to our listeners out there, you could draw your own conclusions to this, but Austin Private Wealth shorted 34 million shares of Rumble, the Rumble stock, which is the streaming platform, competitor to YouTube, in addition to the 12 million shares of DJT. The day before the attempted assassination of Trump. This goes so deep. What are the odds you would just completely take that position up the day or two before this were to happen? 34 million shares of Rumble shorted. Because if Trump goes down and DJT goes down, then Rumble is going to go down with it.
That's a good point.
The majority, the Austin Private Wealth, LLC, majority is held by George Soros' Vanguard and BlackRock, as you said. BlackRock is the party that would have greatly profited from President Trump's death from this short position. And you mentioned the promotional video that Thomas Crooks was in 2022. Also in that commercial was the former head coach of Bethel Park football team, Brian DeLala, which is interesting. But he's a teacher at Bethel Park High School, so bad timing for him, I guess. But Joe, this is there's no such thing as coincidences, right? What are the odds this would happen?
Anthony, so does this tell you everything you need to know when something like this happens, where there's all these coincidences that just line up, and then people are slated to get rich off this?
I just don't believe in coincidence, man.
I mean, maybe one coincidence.
You're right, but the long complexity to this, it's unbelievable.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
That's exactly right. And we're going to get into this in this next segment. But again, the people that shorted this, they obviously thought Trump was going to be killed and their problem was going to be solved. But this didn't happen. And now he is alive and they have to explain what happened. And look at the explanations we've been given so far. Secret Service Director Cheadle told ABC the roof was too much of a slope to have someone safely on. Well, that's just ridiculous. You served in the military. You if you said that as an excuse, the roof's too sloped.
These should be the elite people protecting this man. He's
Right.
the most high-profile man in the world. There's no reason. None of that should have happened.
Now, again, another excuse we heard: we didn't have the manpower. Well, how does that make any sense, considering the Secret Service, we found out, I think it was yesterday, knew there was a credible threat from Iran. And if there was a credible threat from Iran, then there's no excuse for them not having the numbers, correct?
There was plenty of people there.
Okay,
there
so
was
you were
plenty
there.
of
There was plenty of
security
people.
force
Okay.
there to cover that ground properly, but it wasn't.
All right. Let's go over a few other things here. The FBI and I guess they're handling the phones. They're handling all that to make sure no one can really understand what happened because they're not producing any information. Whatever they do, it's probably going to be half-truths at best. Remember, this guy had no social media presence, which in 2024 is almost unheard of. He never searched the internet for how to make a bomb. Also, he was able to scout out the entire area. He was able to walk around the property with a weapon, ammunition. We don't know if he had a ladder. There's conflicting reports about the ladder now, but he was able to climb on a roof.
How does he climb on a roof with a rifle?
Exactly.
In that setting.
It doesn't make any sense. And you got to
Period.
think when he goes on the roof, as soon as he goes on the roof, he's going to lose his melon because there's people that are probably looking for that.
Today, Joe, Dan Bongino was reporting that he actually had the rifle in a backpack and was able to assemble the rifle in pieces that he brought in his backpack.
Okay,
And yes,
that's why we have Anthony.
Bongino was also reporting that he did not climb on the roof with a ladder.
Okay, so Anthony, how hard is it to assemble a weapon, especially like on a roof, and how long would it take? In a backpack, you're talking about, it's not like in two pieces probably.
It would take a minute. I mean, no doubt about it.
And you're able to do this on a roof. And let me ask you, because you probably served with people that were in like combat engineers and people that did explosives. Is it just easy to make explosives where I don't need to go on YouTube or anything? I don't need to search anything. I could just know what I'm doing? The kid had a remote detonator on him.
There's so many questions that need to be answered with this Thomas Crooks, whatever, 20 years old. I just don't buy it. Now they're bringing up the water tower. Where did all the shots come from?
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it all.
Then you got Lauren Boebert that just said, what was it about closed hearings?
Yeah.
Not answering the questions, right? From the FBI or the Department of Homeland Security.
Well, I'll ask you your opinion on this and tell me if you think this is a good idea before
What
we
is
head to
it?
break.
Warren Commission, 9/11 Commission.
How about
here
a
we go, this one now.
How about a J13th commission? How they had a J6 commission? Or what was it? The J6 Select Committee? How about a J13th Select Committee where they can't deny any subpoenas? They have to show up. They have to produce all the records. They have to produce everything. And it's got to be public, maybe, and televised and put it on social media streaming. What do you think about that? That should be what the Republicans want to do. Let's have a J13th Select Committee. What are your thoughts on that? Well, that could solve.
I mean, the American people need transparency.
Yes.
They need accountability.
Yes.
Honesty.
Yes.
I mean, we have not had, since 2020.
You should know everything about your government. The government should not know everything about you. And we see the exact opposite happening today.
Since the election was stolen, I feel like it's still the same year.
Yes.
Through COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Through everything.
Like we're in a time loop.
We are. And it's been like the longest year ever. For me, at least. I know that.
All right. Okay, so Mayorkas, everything we just said, he's trying to block Cheadle from testifying. Like I said, the House Oversight Committee better get her in there. This was an operation to kill a former president that failed, not a failure of protocol. All right, we're going to take a break. When we return, we got Anthony here from the Trump rally live in studio. He's going to walk us through what he saw on Saturday. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM WBVP. You know, when Joe Biden shuffles in front of the cameras to answer scripted questions during the day, he lies like Don King. But what you don't know is, when he goes to sleep at night, he lies like an Egyptian king because he uses MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. Use the promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings on this amazing product. Cash for your house. PGHbuyers.com. If you have an unwanted house but don't want the hassle of selling, visit PGHbuyers.com to see if PGHbuyers.com can help. No inspections and a fair cash offer. Visit PGHbuyers.com to sell that unwanted property for a fair price today. Hey guys, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about a company I've been using since I got my learner's permit. Grossi & Associates. Using their state-of-the-art equipment, Grossi & Associates offers collision repair for all makes and models, both foreign and domestic. There's a reason why they are voted Best of the Valley year in and year out. They are the collision experts. Grossi & Associates. Call today for a free estimate. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP, brought to you by So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing. Whether you need your house washed, your driveway clean, patio done, fences, gutters, you name it. Call Dave from So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing at 724-252-4489. That's 724-252-4489. They're fully insured and offer free estimates. So what are you waiting for? Don't be the outcast in your neighborhood with a dirty house or deck. Call So Fresh, So Clean Pressure Washing today. All right, back with us is our very special guest. Like I said, he served his country in Iraq. He's a supporter of President Trump. He was sitting right behind the podium Saturday. Again, joining us live from the Fry Transportation Studio is Anthony. Anthony, thank you for your service. The first question I have, you've been to, I'm sure this wasn't your first Trump rally. I'm sure you've been to a couple. Was the security any different? Did you notice anything different as far as like security lax, what you had to go through to get into the rally?
So I didn't have, for this one, I really didn't have much to compare it to. I went to, I've attended two. One was actually in Iowa.
Okay.
And we actually got there the day before, camped out, went the next day. I went with a couple of buddies of mine. But that one felt real off.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like it was set up, secured. But then it ended up getting canceled.
Okay.
So like in the midst of actually getting ready to go, I mean, we didn't go. Mm-hmm. We were there, but it got canceled. So I don't got too much to compare security to, but just, coming through, from parking through the lines, we had VIP, we were able to have expedited entry. So we was able to get on the other side of things fairly quickly. I mean, we were watching people through the lines just drop over. Heat exhaustion. I mean, like, I saw at least 5 or 6 on my way in.
Because it was 90-some degrees.
At least 3 people getting wheeled out on stretchers.
And people are wondering, well, why is it bring up the temperature? Because a kid supposedly was hanging out all day and did some crazy physical things that a 20-year-old kid that his size shouldn't be able to do. Again, in 90-degree heat, it's just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy.
I mean, young kids, old people, they were just dropping.
Jeez. Now that it's come out, though, that Secret Service knew of a potential threat at least 10 minutes before. I think it was 10 minutes before he took the stage. Some are saying like 15 minutes before he even took the stage. And they also knew someone was on the roof while Trump was speaking. Why was he still on the X? Why didn't they whisk him away?
They were saying the roof of the building that this supposed shooter was on, the FBI was inside of it.
Okay.
I mean, that's things I've...
This is while you're at the route. This is after, I'm guessing.
Oh, once we got in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were there from the beginning. I mean, it was amazing. I mean,
so you were there for a couple hours. You were there for hours.
We were there hours standing up there. I mean, see, everybody spoke, you know. I mean, local, Sean Parnell, Dave McCormick, Rico Elmore.
Okay.
I mean, it was great, you know. So, I mean, but getting on the other side, we had to pass through metal detectors. I mean, the only bags that were allowed inside.
And you had VIP, and you still had to go. You were expedited.
Oh, yeah.
You still had to do all this.
Still had to go through metal detectors. I mean, I had barely anything in my pockets. Fanny pack size things were only allowed. So, I mean, there wasn't many backpacks or purses or anything like that, you know. So, I mean, it was bare minimum walking in there. Phone, keys, you know, money, wallet, whatever. That was really it. And, you know, I didn't have to show my ID. I was on a list to get in. I had to give my name.
Okay.
I didn't have to show my ID. You know, and we also, we drove up, we took a bus up, mini bus that I have. I took a bus load.
Don't let Fry Transportation hear you say that, but all right.
It's not for hire. Maybe. No. Where was I at? But anyway, I mean, so we had people that rode up with us in different, you know, a buddy of mine sat front row on the opposite side. So I was like 4 rows up behind him. Then another guy that was with us, he sat about 4 rows direct center facing the president. So, I mean, there's, you know, a lot of, there was a lot of folks from, I mean, ton of folks from Beaver County up there.
Okay, so. And you said that you heard a lot of other people spoke for him. Now, I got to ask you, how long after Trump took the stage, because he always speaks late. Whatever, if he says 5:30, he'll be there 6. So how long after he took the stage did this shooting happen?
I mean, I think back. I felt like it was 5 minutes. You know, I mean, he come on. You know, walked down his. You know, walked the plank to get up on the stage, and then I mean, he started going. It wasn't long.
Well, 5 minutes. 5 minutes could be an eternity for some things, but for a speech, because this segment's already been 5 minutes long. Talking for 5 minutes is just not that long.
Yeah.
So it was very quick.
It wasn't that long.
Almost.
I mean, then when he went, he said, you know, he wanted to go off prompter, right? Mm-hmm. And then he had everyone's attention turned to the big screen
at the perfect timing.
Oh, I know.
You talk about intervention by God, and I don't see how it could be anything else. But what happened after? So the shots ring out. Just take us through. So the shots ring out, boom. But we hear 8. Some people say 6. Some people say 8. Some people say 9.
Some people say 11.
Some people say 11.
Yeah.
So take us through. You hear the shots. What would happen? Like when he gets up, was that real? Why? I mean, they let him raise his fist. Was there still another shooter? Were people in the crowd still afraid?
How they brought him back up. You know, if there was a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, get him out of there. Right. Is that not the Secret Service position to protect them?
And we've seen situations where they think there's a gun and they whisk the president away, and it's for like nothing.
I mean, he turned his head. You know, I saw him grab his ear, flinch there, and then it was like he went down, and then the Secret Service came up. I mean, and we were talking before we come back on air. I mean, it's like, talk about God's intervention and His presence. I mean, it's like I was watching that in slow motion. Jeez. Like God's presence was there, and but there's so many questions. I mean, just the speed, why they stood him back up. You know, I mean, immediately though, shots sounded like firecrackers. So had to be light rifle. Whatever.
So 223 maybe instead of a 5.56.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but then you heard that coming back at it. So it was like.
Now, I'm sure you know what the different calibers sound like. Even an amateur can kind of pick out one caliber versus the other.
You know, pistol, rifle, yes. AR. I mean, they all sound different. And but I mean, it was like surreal. I've been processing that since it happened. And
you were right there. You're right in the Charlie Kirk's viral tweet that went out. I mean, your head. First of all, you don't see it, then you see your head pop up.
Yeah.
But Mark, can you any questions? Just jump right in whenever.
No, I'm just listening to Anthony. I mean, we've seen so many videos of this, and I just can't imagine being as close as you were, Anthony, to all this and watching this go down. I mean, how many shots do you think were actually taken by the shooter on the roof? I mean, do you think it was? I mean, was it at least 4? Right, Trump. 2 people that got injured, and then we had the firefighter that was killed. I mean, do you think there were more than that?
Well, I mean, just some of my resources that I've been following for quite some time. I mean, they've really, really dissected and tore apart that day. So, I mean, I've heard as many. I mean, they're playing these back, and I mean, heard as many as, up to 10, 11 shots. But for me, I mean, just being in the presence of it, I mean, I immediately heard the shots from the right. 3, 4 shots it could have been, but then you heard immediately the shots back from a different gun, and then it was like just being in that moment, I just kind of immediately went into observation mode. I mean, like, not panic. I tell you, God's presence definitely was there. So I wasn't panicked. I wasn't shaken, I guess, but just really observant and what to do next, right? I was on the bleachers. I couldn't even really get down because everyone was down on the bleachers. Mm-hmm. So it was like I was kind of just crouched, I guess, and just scanning everything. I mean, the whole place, just seeing how we were going to move from that point. Because we had the whole crowd in front of us.
And let me ask you about the crowd. When he raised his fist up, what was that like? What was that noise like?
Oh, people were just on fire, yelling. I mean, it
exhilarating.
Was, yes, it was. It was.
All right, you mentioned the shots, and for sure 2 different locations. That would make sense since it was a counter sniper firing back. But I want to introduce you to what Corey Mills said. Maybe you heard this, maybe you didn't. I think it was on MSNBC or CNN. He was mentioning the water tank and how the water tank, it was about 250 yards away, wasn't in the perimeter, and it had an incredible line of sight. And another thing he brought up, how Cheeto said the roof was too sloped to actually have a sniper on it.
That's ridiculous.
But again, all the roofs are slipped. It makes 0 sense.
They're Secret Service.
Right.
I mean, that was less than a 412 pitch. I mean, they show, they show photos of the Secret Service on the White House. Yes. I mean, that's probably maybe 5, 6, 12 up there. I mean, I've been on roofs, and if the Secret Service can't stand on that one, then. Now,
this is gaining traction on the internet, and then it doesn't help that Corey Mills says it and kind of gives it like, a little bit of air. Did anyone there that you heard say they heard another shooter or thought there could be another shooter or maybe mention the water tower at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen interviews. I mean, who knows? They're probably trying to get rid of them now to stick to the narrative that's on the TV. But, I mean, there were people talking about the water tower then. I mean, they were interviewing people, and I've saw some interviews since I've been processing this for a week, I feel, at least, or since, and just I'm diving in too. I want to know, I want to know the truth.
Joe, there's they said a working theory out there that the Secret Service has been thrown around that, again, just a theory that this shooter, I think we talked about this earlier today, was planning more of a mass casualty event like the Las Vegas shooting, where he was just going to indiscriminately shoot into the crowd to kill as many people as possible.
Let's talk about what happened at Las Vegas. No.
That's a whole other episode.
A whole other episode.
But that kind of makes sense because the person he killed wasn't anywhere near in Trump's line of sight. So I don't know. That definitely could be could be possible.
It just sucks. Like we don't really get to ask the questions. I don't get to ask the questions on the show. I do. The media is the one that gets to ask the questions, and they're just not asking the right questions at all.
The mainstream media is just. I mean, I don't know how people can still watch it.
The same media that's ran by BlackRock.
Yeah,
I got rid of my TV. I mean, I quit watching TV after they stole the election. I
gotta watch it, man, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I have to hear what they say because it's just so ridiculous.
I just
love it.
And after I moved, I didn't bring one with me, and it's beautiful.
I'm sure it is.
I don't turn it on. I just don't. There's enough internet information if you need it, and I just don't watch TV anymore. I can't. It's so fake. I mean, you see how they just manipulate it all. I mean, it's just crazy. We had an after rally event down at his place, and Channel 11 was there, and he needed one more guy to interview. I said, well, it might as well be me since I'm the owner, So I talked to him afterwards, and I should have known better, right? And then just to see it later that evening, and it's like. That's all you put on there?
Yeah.
I mean...
They'll selectively edit stuff.
It's just... That's why nobody trusts the news. I mean, at least the people with their eyes open
say
don't
whatever you
trust
want
the
about
news.
Trump. He said one thing that was correct. When he said the news was fake in 2015,
It is fake.
Wow, was he right about that one? All right, we got to take a break here. I just want to, just for our audience just turning in, so today we covered up that the roof was too sloped to have a shooter on it, according to the Secret Service Director Cheadle. It was too dangerous to the sniper, but not the assassin, apparently. And the reports that Matthew Crooks was scouting out the property the day before. How could it be? Once it's decided that Trump's speaking here,
they go ahead. They go ahead of him. They secure it.
They were beaten by a 20-year-old kid.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
We'll try to figure out how, though, when we return here to Thinking Logically on 99.3 FM WBVP. It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy, and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today. Hey guys, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about a company I've been using since I got my learner's permit. Grossi & Associates. Using their state-of-the-art equipment, Grossi & Associates offers collision repair for all makes and models, both foreign and domestic. There's a reason why they are voted best of the Valley year in and year out. They are the collision experts. Grossi & Associates. Call today for a free estimate. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Galla with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Galla of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. Cash for your house. PGHbuyers.com. If you have an unwanted house but don't want the hassle of selling, visit PGHbuyers.com to see if PGHbuyers.com can help. No inspections and a fair cash offer. Visit PGHbuyers.com to sell that unwanted property for a fair price today.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM, brought to you by Mitchell's Jewelers. Remember, it takes an enormous amount of pressure to make a diamond, so why should you put yourself under any more pressure when buying one? Don't. Go to Mitchell's Jewelers where the choice is as clear as their diamonds. Mitchell's Jewelers, located at 2454 Mill Street in Aliquippa, PA. That's 2454 Mill Street in Aliquippa, PA. Anthony, we got a caller. I don't know if he wants to talk to you or me. So, put Dawn on whenever you get a chance, Rye.
All right, he's on.
Dawn.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, Are you guys conspiracy theorists? There's obviously nothing to see here other than a lone nut, a little kid that got off a shot with a pellet gun his dad gave him. Why do you guys doubt what the mainstream media tells us or doesn't tell us?
Oh, man. Is this a prank call?
No. I've been like this since I was about 9 years old. No, this is just ridiculous. My opinion of security is, let's say that someone's guarding a pop star, and someone rushes towards her. Is he supposed to say, I don't want to fight that guy and run the other way? I didn't think a slow proof was enough to stop the Secret Service.
Yeah, it is now. Oh, my.
Would you go outdoors if you were Donald J. Trump? He doesn't care, does he? He is absolutely... I think he's done the math on this, and he figures it's worth it, right?
Yeah. I don't know. He's really out there.
He's given up quite a bit to do all this, the past 8 years.
Have you ever seen those super soakers, those little water pistols? My son used to play with those with the neighborhood kids. Have you ever seen those?
Yes, absolutely.
I know one thing. If I would have walked on those fairgrounds with a super soaker and Hillary Clinton was speaking, they would have dropped me like a bad habit.
And then she would have accused you of trying to shoot her like she did in Bosnia.
Well, what they would do is try to connect me with Donald J. Trump somehow, and Jack Smith could press some charges on him. And how do we get out of this box? Because the people that are completely brainwashed, it looks like they're doubling down, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this is bad because it's not like this. It's pretty obvious. I mean, almost as obvious as getting shot in the basement of a police station after you shoot JFK, right?
I always liked what the comedian Dennis Miller said. Who are you turning away if you let Jack Ruby in that? Wasn't there a quote by Oswald where somehow they let the cameras get near him, and he said, I'm a patsy. He said this and that.
He threw his hands up. I think they wanted to kill him in the theater. I think they wanted to kill him in the theater. They were going to kill him in the theater, and he was probably, I think he had an IQ of like 150, and he went out the back door and threw his hands up where no one was, saying, I'm not armed, I'm a patsy. I'm unarmed, I'm a patsy, supposedly.
Oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. I think our next move should be, now... I'm so glad he picked J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance might shoot back at them. I like that he's only 39 years old. Yeah. If we don't win November 5th, are you guys willing to shoot free throws with me at the re-education camps or anything like that?
Don, we might have to hire you on as a writer. We might have to hire Don on as our head writer.
Oh, I love that you tie the money back to them. Isn't that amazing?
What are you talking about? Didn't we already establish it was a mistake? It was an honest mistake.
Yeah. Honest mistake. The days before this assassination.
It was an honest mistake. People make mistakes, Don.
That is true. Yes. Well, I'll see you guys at the re-education camps if we don't win.
I can't wait.
Thanks, Tom.
Take care.
We'll ride the train with you.
Tell him to put an application in. He could be our head writer. So, all right.
Sounds amazing.
All right. So again, we had a rifle. We had a kid with a rifle. There's fences everywhere. I mean, the police couldn't get through the fence. They had to ram through it, I believe, to get back over there. But this kid's able to just get in and out. Where even were we? I don't even know where we are in this. Did he have a ladder? Did he not have a ladder? It's weirder. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's more weird if he didn't bring his own ladder because that meant they just had a ladder to the rooftop with a clear line of sight to the president, just wide open.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and they're showing, this 12-foot step ladder, right?
Yeah.
I own that same ladder.
Yeah.
It is not light, okay? And it sucks to carry, and he's just carrying guns and ladders right
in
on
98-degree weather with 100% humidity.
Yeah.
Explosive detonators on them that, ain't accidentally getting bumped along the way. And, yeah.
Honestly, I don't know.
But we're the crazy ones.
Right.
Just shut up and
listen to the TV, please.
Exactly.
Stop talking about it.
So, who do you think could have showed him how to do this? I mean, let's be honest. Let's talk conspiracy. Do you think he had an FBI handler? How else? Because you hear all these stories, all these mass shooters. They're always known to the FBI. The Buffalo shooter. This FBI knew about him.
The fact that he was shown in a BlackRock commercial and just the ties BlackRock has, and
A lot of
I mean,
coincidences.
what is happening?
For me, you know what gets it for me? And I asked Ryan. I was gonna leave with this question: did the FBI? And it sounds funny because I was kind of joking, but it might be serious. Did the FBI kidnap a 20-year-old mentally challenged person and put them on a roof as a patsy? Because the kids, you find out yesterday, the kid's parents reported him missing. 20 years old. Do your parents report you missing on a Saturday?
No. I mean,
I'd be gone for weeks at a time at 20 years old.
I mean, unless the kid had some kind of issues or was challenged or something like that, then, okay, if he was, then how did he commit this? Again.
how did he carry the ladder? Did he drive a truck?
Well,
Because it wouldn't fit in
they're
a
saying
car.
he
I'm
bought
just
a ladder,
saying.
but they're saying he didn't. Dan Bongino,
What
I
car
think,
did
even
he
said.
drive there? Did he strap it to the top, or did he have a pickup truck?
Well, that's
'Cause
another thing. Maybe you would help me out with this.
you know.
So he drove a Hyundai there, and some people said they saw a van getting towed away, and they don't know why. Strange.
Oh man.
He doesn't matter. You're gonna at some
Could've
point
been a
be
dead battery. Could've been a dead
walking
battery.
past people with a big ladder in your hand. I mean, no matter how you got it there.
I mean, you had people yelling, "There's a guy on the roof." They said the sniper that counter-fired had him in the scope for over 3 minutes, and he was told to stand down. Are you kidding me? What do you mean, stand down?
3 minutes.
I mean, is he going to wait for shots fired to take out a
Right.
gunman? I mean, what world are we living
Wasn't
in?
that a common thing on September 11th as well? Wasn't the Jets told to stand down while the... Okay, again, different story, different day.
Well, if we dive into it, we'll be here till 9 o'clock
man.
on Monday.
We'll find the passports on the sidewalk.
You're right.
That is a joke. That is a joke we keep on reusing. I'm surprised that kid's passport or their ID didn't fly off the roof somewhere and someone found it. But again, he didn't have an ID. So that's another question. How'd they identify this kid using DNA if he was never freaking arrested?
Good question.
And then why'd they spray the roof off with all
Oh
the
yeah,
blood?
the FBI got up there. What?
It had to be the FBI.
Hosing.
Had
They
to be
were
the FBI.
able to walk that slope.
Yeah.
Not the
I
Secret
forgot
Service.
about that. I
Not the
forgot
Secret
about
Service.
that.
They're up there hosing the roof
What
off.
was he harnessed up? Like, I mean, OSHA went up there and said, "Shut the job
Shut
down.
the job down."
Shut the job down. No, we can't have this. Absolutely not."
Oh my.
We got to take a break in about a minute or two. But again, the parents calling him, reporting him missing on a Saturday. I don't know. And then we'll get into other things too. The news media brought up that in 2016, his father was on a Donald Trump list because he firearms or something. Okay, that's newsworthy, I guess. But what is that like? What does that mean? How does that carry like any weight? Like, I don't know. He put him on a list. Like that was 8 years ago. 8 years ago, and that's what you're going to focus on, the news media. It's unbelievable to me.
People need to shut their TVs off.
I don't know.
Oh.
You usually see this always happen at a rally. Someone's always brought into custody for they're doing something stupid, whether it's fighting, whether it's getting up and saying. Now, a kid with a gun, a kid and acting suspicious with rangefinder, bring binoculars. That's fine. A rangefinder tells you distance. Like if I'm looking, I'm going to say, "Oh, that's 200 yards with this wind. Maybe does it tell you when to? I don't even know."
Joe, it is the. Do we think Kim Cheadle's going to show in front of Congress next week?
Mayorkas,
After getting harassed by Marsha Blackburn and John Barrasso last night.
Anthony, did you see that? The
I
RNC
didn't see it.
Oh, they did harass. I'd like to see them do a
They
little bit
attacked
more.
her.
They need to. They need to. And honestly, that just her walking away like that just shows like the Biden administration. I think that don't worry, I'm keeping my mouth shut. That's what I see. Is that what you see?
Well, it's reported that she actually met with Trump today as well. So
Did she?
who knows?
Did she have any security with her when she met? I mean, I just so many questions to ask. Anthony, before we take a break, I wanted to thank the DEI hires that were in the front row that tried to help Trump. Did you see any of that? And what did you think of that? It was complete pandemonium. The one woman, I don't know if you saw the video, she almost shoots her hand off trying to holster her weapon back. And I guess these are people from DEA that were outsourced to be the Secret Service that day because
Seeing the women made me. I mean, I'm not against that, but to protect the president. I mean,
he's 6'3".
I was questioning that.
He's
if you want to know what I
6'3".
was questioning at that time, and that was one of them. And I'm watching all that go on prior with other speakers, and I'm just like, really raise eyebrow at this is the Secret Service. So I I don't know. I mean, you've seen a whole new Secret Service at the RNC. I mean, they were all, what, 6'6", and
Right.
they
Right.
They brought the varsity team out.
Yes,
To the
exactly.
RNC.
But yeah, he's 6'3". Why would you have someone 5'2"
Yeah.
guarding him? I just it doesn't
Before
make
we
any
had
sense.
to break here, Joe, this is breaking from Colin Rugg on X. Just in, local law enforcement says Secret Service is throwing them under the bus. Claims the U.S. Secret Service visited the rally location 1 month before and told them exactly what to do. A source who spoke with the Daily Mail was furious over claims that they were responsible for the area outside the perimeter. The Secret Service came out here more than a month ahead of time and met with all the local agencies, an officer said. They tell us exactly what to do, exactly what they want, exactly how they want it. It's all on them. They're absolutely passing the buck. Kim Cheadle needs to resign.
I say yes. Yeah.
That's how you know they're in on it, because they're not resigning, though. If again, that's how you know they're in on the cover-up. They're in on the operation. It wasn't a breakdown in protocol. It was an operation, and it failed. All right, we're going to take one more break here, but when we return, we're going to have Anthony for the final segment here on Thinking Logically, 99.3 WBVP. Hey guys, it's Joe from Thinking Logically here to tell you about a company I've been using since I got my learner's permit. Grossi & Associates. Using their state-of-the-art equipment, Grossi & Associates offers collision repair for all makes and models, both foreign and domestic. There's a reason why they are voted Best of the Valley year in and year out. They are the collision experts. Grossi & Associates. Call today for a free estimate. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Galla with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Galla of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. You know, when Joe Biden shuffles in front of the cameras to answer scripted questions during the day, he lies like Don King. But what you don't know is, when he goes to sleep at night, he lies like an Egyptian king because he uses MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River, its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. Use the promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings on this amazing product.
The place for news, sports, and entertainment. You're listening to Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM and 1230 WBVP, coming to you live from the all-new Fry Transportation Studios.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM. We're here with our producer, Ryan, our co-host, Mark, and our guest, Anthony. We're going to cover Bob Menendez now. He must have went to Mitchell's Jewelers because he got some gold in his closet. Okay, so apparently he was found guilty, and I guess is he gonna resign, or maybe he already has resigned. But just for those wondering, because this is the end of the trial now, he's been found guilty. Understand this: he was only prosecuted because he didn't fall in line with something, we don't know what, something either the Democrats or intel agencies wanted. No one was banging tables like this asking for Bob Menendez to be indicted or prosecuted. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, others, yes, but not Bob Menendez. It's been a show the last 4 years. You can commit crimes right out in the open. Even have an entire laptop full of them, and you won't be charged for those crimes. A gun crime, yes, maybe, but not the ones that link you to someone financially like your father. Now, Chuck Schumer called for him to resign, and Bob Menendez did, I guess, but why didn't they vote to throw him out like they did George Santos? This guy was actually found guilty. Mark, I want to get to you, and then Anthony, I want your thoughts on actually George Santos, but Mark, let me send it to you first.
Yeah, about the Bob Menendez thing. So, I mean, you know, what happens to his seat? I don't believe he was actually running for re-election anyways, if I'm not mistaken, Joe. So,
they still lose a seat in the Senate right now, though.
Yeah, that will put him down, 50 to 49. I don't think that's going to matter, though, really. I'm not surprised that he was found guilty. I mean, it seems like all the evidence was against him, you know. So, I mean, imagine this guy, man, taking gold bars and bribes and everything from Egypt. It's crazy.
All right, I said George Santos. I mean, I love George Santos. I don't know your thoughts on him, but like Bob Menendez, do you not agree? Like, this is the only reason why he didn't fall in line with something. Does it not seem that way?
Just to see one go down is
it's a mystery about him and not others. I can give you about 50 other names that should be,
or 100 or 500.
And speaking of 50, we talked about this real quick before the break because we only got about 5 minutes here. Joe Biden proposed $55 caps to raise your rent. I mean, I don't know how he would do that. I mean, what is he, dictator? Let's just not spend any time on that. We got to get to Fani Willis before. Trump's oral arguments to disqualify Fulton County DA Fani Willis has been backed up to December 5th, all but assuring that it'll be delayed till after the presidential election. We find this out again. Anthony, you see all these things happen where Trump, the lawfare fails, and then it gets physical and they try to kill him. Are you able to see it?
I can see it pretty clear. I mean, it's...
Because we're conspiracy theorists now.
Oh, yeah. I mean... Just the fact that assassination attempt on Trump and then Biden has COVID. I mean, come on.
What are the odds?
You can't even make this up.
I mean, no, we went back 2 years and 20 minutes there. It was like all of a sudden he's fine shaking people's hands, pressing the flesh out there in Nevada at restaurants. Then he has COVID. He's walking back up the short steps of the airplane, not even the long ones.
So they can hide him
Why
from
wasn't
everybody.
he wearing a mask, Joe?
I don't know. I do not know. You know, as... What's the soundbite? You know the rules, and so do I.
Maybe he was wearing a mask. Wink, wink, nod, nod.
CIA mask.
Yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod. Yeah.
All right.
That's for sure.
Also, Biden got slapped down by the courts again on student loans. Again, he's not a dictator. That came out. And then finally, in our little news update here in this jam-packed episode, apparently the leader of China, Xi Jinping, may have had a stroke, may have suffered a stroke. We're going to follow that. I know someone was fired or let go from a high-up position in the Chinese Communist Party. We'll have to monitor that situation because, with Biden, we just never know where war's going to break out next. I mean, could be a stroke, could be him just trying to invade Taiwan here in a couple weeks. But final night of the RNC convention, Anthony, what do you think? Trump's going to come out. Do you think he's going to hold back a little bit? Do you think this assassination attempt has made him a little bit more like passive and laid back where he could relax and maybe just watch the Democrats eat each other alive after this convention tonight?
Oh, I don't know. I am actually going to turn my TV on tonight, and probably watch that. Mm-hmm. But he's going to have a powerful message for the American people. So, I've been watching him all this time. I feel like he's always calm.
Yeah,
cool, he's got that peace. But I heard Hulk Hogan was speaking to.
Oh, I can't wait.
So that's a good.
What time is that?
Ryan's so interested.
I'm in.
It's gonna be a fun
The RNC has been fantastic. I mean, some of the speakers. I was just thinking the other night how happy I am that we have guys like Ben Carson, Vivek, Donald Trump Jr. These guys are on our team. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was awesome. Marco Rubio was great the other night. Just the lineup. The lineup has been incredible every night, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Alina Habba speaks, and I think Donald Trump will probably take the stage around 10:15 tonight.
All right, we got about 1 minute left. Anthony, I wanted to give you a chance to promote your. Is it your what is it considered?
Well,
I know you're having an event there for the people that were at this rally.
We had it. We had a post-rally event Monday, actually. So we were able to, just bring folks in and be able to share and tell their story. But yeah, his place, Fellowship Hall in Bridgewater. I've spent the last year and a half plus restoring the old Methodist church down in Bridgewater. It's been quite a task, and I'm glad to be on this side of it. The work has settled, and we've been just plugging things in. We have some men and women's groups meeting. It's been more of a meeting house, but Christian Fellowship Hall. The place is beautiful. Okay. And we've been able to fellowship with like minds. And promoting the gospel. And it's going to be multi-use, different, outside of the box. The first task was to get the place ready. But, our mission is faith in action, spiritual fellowship, and education and truth.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Very
we're
important
just
things.
we're trying to bring people together, fellowship.
Well, we wish you great success in that. Again, Ryan was our producer, Mark was our co-host. Our guest was Anthony. Anthony, we're going to have you back eventually to talk about, I don't know if it's 9/11 or what do we want to do, the Vegas shooting. We're going to talk into something.
9/11 sent me to Iraq, so
we'll do the Vegas shooting. Maybe we'll start off something easy.
Well, talk about them all. I mean, geez, here we are again.
All right, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Anthony again. Check out his place. Again, Thinking Logically. We're on 5 to 6 p.m. Mondays and Thursdays. Check us out then. I'm Joe Corsi. Thanks for tuning in.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP.